Hello, folks. Byron here with Tutor Doctor out in Albuquerque, and we're going to be visiting with Chris Lean from San Diego, California once again. And Chris, I wanted to talk today about something you've been tracking. There was some test results that came out, and it tells us something that we should all be aware of and concerned about. What do you have for us?
Thank you, Byron. Yes, given all the other news that's going on out there in the news cycle and summer, there hasn't been a lot of interest, surprisingly low level of reporting on this particular topic, which is the NCES test results have come back, a nationwide testing of students at various different grade levels. It was originally inaugurated somewhere around 1970, 71. So it's been around for quite a while. It gives a good longitudinal measure of how students are learning year over year on the basic topics of reading and math, etc. And what was alarming and disappointing was that the results that came back, particularly for 13-year-olds, but also for younger students, and again, all different geographic areas, economic levels, that the results of their test have fallen to the levels not seen since the 1970s. So it's almost like the last, 35 years of educational gains have just stopped and reversed. The other more troubling aspect is the year-over-year decrease in particularly the math score fell the sharpest in the 50+ years that this test is being administered. Now, the test scores themselves have been falling since 2011, long before anybody could spell COVID. So this is a multi-year phenomenon. Now, we should be careful to say our job within Tutor Doctor, we never want to cast any aspersions toward the teaching profession, teachers, anything of that nature. We just want to highlight that this is a very real and sustained trend that is going on at all different levels of schools within the US. And when you couple this with the test results that were, the international test results that were reported last October, in addition to the ACT exam and SAT exam results all falling, they're all together indicating that educational results have been falling, and again, long before COVID arose. So that said, it's very important that students and tutors and their parents really take stock in what can we do this summer to get ready before the next school year hits, so we can hopefully start at a higher base and we can see more of an upward rather than stagnant or downward trajectory in the learning. So there are numerous different ways. The good news is there's lots of ways to address it. One, there are many free apps, yes, devices, they can help in this. So there are many free apps and very low cost apps and things for the computer as well, where students can learn all different age levels, grade levels. There are even educational games that families can purchase, and board games, electronic games, all sorts of things that really stimulate thought and creativity and get the discussions going or continuing through the summer on the educational front. And there are all sorts of other ways as well as we look at the beginning of the school year. And Byron, you have some great ideas how students can progress this summer and not hit the ground flat-footed as the new school year begins.
Well, one of the things that we want to do is make sure that parents come out the heroes in this, right? Nobody more than parents wants their children to excel and perform well. And so one of the great things that you can do is just get your students an academic coach right here in the summer. Somebody that's going to come alongside of your student and take advantage of the quote unquote downtime that is happening and give your students a leg up so that when they enter the fall season, they are caught up or perhaps even ahead, So getting that tutor would be a great thing to do, whether that's X skills, whether that's subject matter tutoring, whether that's test prep. There's all kinds of things that can be offered to help get that done. And I'm imagining you're using some of those tools too, Chris?
Oh, absolutely. And even within my own home, my own son, this summer, as we record this in June 2023, he has already embarked on SAT preparation. And as I've always said, it's a great three-legged stool, right? Is to, number one, go back and review all of the subject matter he's learned through 10 years of primary and secondary education. Two, test taking skills, which these days aren't taught as much in the schools. And by the way, it'd be interesting to determine whether that might be some of a factor in these test scores in recent years declining. But thirdly, also the pacing and the timing. One of the main things we hear from students when they take an initial SAT or practice test, their comments many times, wow, I could not believe how much work this was, how fast the questions went and how in depth. And it's just because the nature of testing has changed in the last dozen years or so. So that's another reason why it's really college prep more so than just merely test preparation. So that's, even my own family will be going down that path this summer.
Well, great, Chris. Thanks so much for giving us insight into what is trending and what we can do about it. Folks, thanks so much for joining us today. See the description below. You'll be able to find contact information for a local Tutor Doctor office that's more than happy to help you bridge the gap, help your students show up in the fall in a better position than they otherwise would. Thank you again. We look forward to seeing you next time.